Every culture has its mysteries, but in the heart of India, one case fundamentally shattered the boundaries between modern science and ancient Eastern philosophy. In the 1930s, a little girl named Shanti Devi, living in the bustling streets of Delhi, began speaking of things no ordinary 4-year-old child should ever know. She claimed that her real home was not in Delhi, but in the distant, sacred town of Mathura, a place she had never visited in her current life. With absolute certainty, she described her past name as Lugdi Devi, a woman who had tragically passed away in 1925, just 10 days after giving birth to a son. What started as a family's concern quickly turned into a national phenomenon, capturing the attention of scholars, skeptics, and the entire Indian subcontinent. The case grew so profound that even Mahatma Gandhi stepped forward, appointing a formal committee of 15 prominent researchers and politicians to investigate her claims. To test her memory, the committee brought the young Shanti Devi to Mathura, expecting her to face the harsh reality of an unknown city. But the moment she stepped off the train, the illusion of a childhood fantasy began to crumble, replaced by undeniable, terrifying accuracy. Without a single map or guide, she navigated the complex, winding alleys of Mathura, recognizing landmarks she had never seen before. She instantly identified her past life husband, Kedarnath, out of a massive crowd, addressing him by a private, intimate nickname only they shared. Most shocking of all, she led investigators to Lugdi's old room and pointed to a hidden underground spot, claiming she had buried her savings there. When the committee dug up the spot, they found an empty hidden box, but her past life husband broke down in tears, admitting he had removed the money after her death. For decades, spiritualists claimed this was definitive proof of the soul's journey. Yet mainstream Western psychology fiercely attempted to debunk it. Western scientists were desperate to categorize Shanti Devi's case under a well known psychological phenomenon, cryptomnesia. Cryptomnesia is a fascinating cognitive glitch where a person recalls a forgotten memory but genuinely believes it is a brand new, original idea. In theory, a child could overhear a story about a deceased woman, bury it deep within their subconscious, and later experience it as a personal memory. Under this psychological lens, Shanti Devi was not a reincarnated soul, but merely a victim of a highly sophisticated subconscious illusion. Skeptics argued that she must have absorbed these intimate details through traveling merchants, gossip, or distant relatives passing through Delhi. However, when we subject the cryptomnesia theory to the strict laws of cognitive behavioral science, the skeptical argument completely falls apart. First, cryptomnesia can explain a person remembering a name or a location, but it cannot explain the acquisition of localized, unwritten cultural habits. Shanti Devi did not just know facts, she spoke fluent Mathura dialect, a distinct regional idiom that was entirely different from her family's Delhi dialect. Linguists know that a child cannot naturally adopt a complex regional accent and dialect simply by overhearing a passing story in their early childhood. Furthermore, cognitive psychology states that false memories are highly unstable, prone to changing and distorting every time they are retold. Yet, throughout her entire life, under intense interrogation by different global committees, Shanti Devi's narrative never shifted by a single detail. This brings us to a deeper psychological concept that modern materialist science often fears to address: the nature of consciousness itself. Famous psychoanalyst Carl Jung proposed the concept of the collective unconscious, a layer of the psyche shared by all human beings. Jung believed that memories and archetypes could transcend individual human lives, existing in a realm that connects all human experiences. Today, modern neuroscience is discovering the reality of epigenetics, the concept that trauma and memories can be genetically passed down through generations. If science now admits that a mouse can inherit its grandfather's fear of a specific scent, why do we reject the idea of human consciousness carrying past impressions? This was the exact question raised by Dr. Ian Stevenson, the former head of the Department of Psychiatry at the University of Virginia. Dr. Stevenson spent 40 years investigating over 3,000 cases of children claiming past life memories, with India offering the most verified data. He discovered that many of these children possessed distinct birthmarks or birth defects that corresponded exactly to fatal wounds received in their past lives. Medical science cannot explain how a purely psychological, false memory could physically manifest as a physical scar or deformity on a newborn body. Shanti Devi did not seek fame or fortune. She lived a quiet, deeply spiritual life, working as a government employee and refusing to monetize her story. When materialist psychology tries to force her case into the box of fraud or cryptomnesia, it ignores the basic rules of human behavioral patterns. A 4-year-old child cannot maintain a massive, cross city psychological hoax under the scrutiny of world leaders and global scientists without cracking. Therefore, Shanti Devi remains a towering monument that exposes the massive limitations of modern Western cognitive models. What the West calls an anomalous psychological glitch, ancient Indian psychology has understood for millennia as the natural law of karma and samsara. It suggests that the human mind is not a clean slate born from nothing, but an ongoing tapestry carrying threads from long forgotten chapters. Memory is not merely localized inside the physical tissue of the brain, it is a fundamental fabric of our greater cosmic consciousness. When we dismiss these cases as mere superstition, we close the door to understanding the deepest, unmapped territories of the human mind. Reincarnation psychology is not about proving a specific religion. It is about expanding our scientific definition of what it means to be human. It forces us to ask: are the phobias, the unlearned talents, and the strange attachments we feel today truly ours, or are they echoes of a past life? Shanti Devi's journey challenges every single viewer to look inward and wonder what secrets are locked inside the deepest vaults of their own subconscious. As modern psychology continues to evolve, it may eventually find that the answers it seeks were already written in the ancient records of the East. The transition from Lugdi Devi to Shanti Devi was not a trick of the mind, but a bridge built by a consciousness that refused to forget its love. By studying these cases with an open yet highly analytical mind, we move closer to solving the ultimate riddle of human existence and survival. The official committee appointed by Gandhi concluded that her claims were valid, a verdict that has never been scientifically overturned to this very day. So, if our memories can survive the absolute destruction of the physical body, what does that say about the true nature of who you are right now? Perhaps your current life is simply another page in an endless book, waiting for the day you finally awaken and remember your own forgotten past.